This is the Johnny Cleveland Podcast, all things Cleveland sports, with your host, John Suchan. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Johnny Cleveland Podcast. How is everybody on this Tuesday, this glorious Tuesday? Let me find my background music here. Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Maybe? Yes. We'll see if that works. We'll try that. And if you don't like it, we'll try something else. There you go. All right, I can't stop on number 13, though, because 13 is a very unlucky number. I tell you all the time about that. All right, it's Tuesday. We are the Fanatical Elves Network, part of Fans First Sports Network. And again, I'm your host, John Suchan, otherwise known as Johnny Cleveland. Yes, Batman is back. If you are watching this on the Fans First page, thank you for tuning in. We've had a few changes. I wanted to kind of just share. I know Lou Marconi, one of our colleagues, talked about this on his Burning River Browns talk the other day. And so here's your spiel. If you're watching us, hopefully you're watching us on maybe YouTube, on Facebook, or Twitter, or X, you know, that Elon Musk dude, the bazillionaire and whatever, his whole thing. So the thing is they're charging money now for us to want to share out our videos. Now, we don't make the big bucks, but we do make little pennies here and there with the audio. So we really would love for you to download us, subscribe to us on Apple, on Spotify. But we also know that we want to continue sharing out our wonderful, beautiful faces and do that here on the videos. And unfortunately, Twitter, X, they're charging money now. You know, as a group here at the Fanatical Elves, we love being part of Fans First Sports, and we're coming to you live on Fans First, which is awesome. They're an amazing group. It's our parent company. They run the show, and we love what they're doing. We're gaining affiliates, gaining momentum all over the place. Great podcasters, great writers, but we're not going to pay that extra fee for our Twitter feed from the Fanatical Elves, but the Fans First group is kind enough to let us broadcast our shows live. So we'll repost these on Twitter, on the X, but it's just crazy. You know, everything, you know, we love YouTube, we love Facebook too, so you can watch us there. And again, subscribe to us again on YouTube. I mean, you can subscribe on YouTube. We really would love that as well. But Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all those audio podcasting platforms, you'll never miss a beat. So, like, you know, I've subscribed to our own show, and when a show pops up, it'll pop up on my phone. I'll never miss that. So, a little bit of change, but we appreciate you staying with us as we continue to grow. We've been at this for a little bit over a year here with the Fanatical Elves. And like I said, we have a great group, parent group there at the Fans First. Great, exceptional people there. And we're just growing by leaps and bounds. We're getting geared up for the football season here. We got a couple weeks away for the Brownies starting training camp. They're going to be there at Greenbrier down in West Virginia. It's been a little quiet, you know, this summer, but not really. We are all super excited, right, about that one, Nicholas Chubb. Man, Batman is back. Did you see him lifting weights? Gosh, glory have mercy. That is amazing stuff, folks. And if we are, wondering if he's going to be ready in week one, dude just lifted 585 pounds. He's been squatting that, doing that multiple times. Love that. Doesn't mean he's going to be in there week one. I've been saying this for a while here on the Johnny Cleveland Show. I truly believe that Nick Chubb will be in uniform. I believe that maybe he'll get a few rounds, a few plays. Don't know if he'll be starting, but it would be quite the story if we saw him in week one running on that football field against those Dallas Cowboys in that late afternoon primetime game, by the way. So lots to look forward to. I mean, we're just, 8 months removed from his surgeries. and he's down there in Georgia at his old high school lifting weights like that. Unreal. Nick Chubb is just superhuman. Amazes me all the time. I love this guy. It's like many of you love Nick Chubb. He is a difference maker. He is the heart and soul of what Cleveland is all about. We love Nick Chubb, and hopefully Nick Chubb can stay here in Cleveland for the rest of his career. He's moving up that chain of runners. He's fourth right now, just 40 yards away from Mike Pruitt. Going to overtake Leroy Kelly if he can get there this year. I think he's only 700 yards away from him. And no doubt if he can have a few games going through this latter part of the season, he'll probably pass those guys and just be right there next to Jim Brown. Very appropriate. Jim Brown, Nick Chubb. He's not Jim Brown. I'm not saying yet, but if the Browns can give him that extra contract, let him play out his time in Cleveland, that would be fantastic. Fantastic news. So that's big. Now, the other news that popped up yesterday, Dustin Hopkins. I know we were looking at contract extensions. I saw people saying, oh, good, the Browns got a contract extension. Good story. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe it was for Amari. No, it wasn't for Amari Cooper yet. It was for Dustin Hopkins. Yeah, when was the last time the Browns gave an extension, a contract extension to a kicker? Well, we did yesterday. $3 million. Let's see. I wrote it down here. $3 million, 3 years, $15.9 million. Not exactly wide receiver kind of money that we're waiting to hear about from Amari Cooper. I think Amari wants at least 25-30 million a year. So Dustin Hopkins is not going to be getting anywhere close to that kind of money, but it does signify that the Browns are trying to find somebody who is consistent. He was a great kicker for them last year. We had that whole experiment of drafting Cade York, and good for Cleveland that recognized that wasn't going to be the case. And they went and got Dustin Hopkins, and he was dynamite. I was watching a replay of the old Steeler-Browns game last year back in late November, early December, that game where Dorian Thompson-Robinson quarterback because Deshaun had re-injured his shoulder in the Baltimore Ravens comeback win. And Dorian Thompson-Robinson took the Browns in the last minute and a half down the field where they were able to go ahead on a go-ahead field goal by Dustin Hopkins. And the Browns won that game. They went to 7-3 on the season and all looked relatively well considering everything that had happened at that point. We know the rest of the story. The Browns did make it into the playoffs, losing to the Texans, but this year it could be very, very different. And we're all getting super excited, super hyped. You have to be. You know, the games haven't been played yet. A lot of speculation, but that's okay. That's what makes it fun. Had a great interview. So I saw a great interview with the guys over at with Fans First with the Pittsburgh group. Their colleague Kevin Smith. He is from New Jersey, high school football coach there, I think at Ocean City, New Jersey, and he had the pleasure of getting to interview our coach, Kevin Stefanski. I don't know if you've seen that interview, but I hope you go out and look at it, watch it. I tagged it on our Twitter page. Just tremendous, 20 minutes. Really cool listening to Kevin Stefanski talk to Kevin Smith over there at Pittsburgh and just talking about, you know, players and plays and how players and the plays kind of get designed depending on what those players do well and being able to take a little bit of all these different offenses that Stefanski has used over the years and seen from various other coaches he's worked for. I think that's really, really cool. You know, he was asked at the end of the interview what's his favorite play, his go-to play on the offensive end. He talked a little bit about like a kind of an extended offense there where they have all the offensive wide receivers out, so there's nobody in the backfield. You have various options, and you can go vertical. You have the downs. It was interesting, though, in that last part, he even mentioned former Brown wide receiver Jarvis Landry. He gave Jarvis Landry a nice compliment, talking about how Jarvis was really good in those sort of offenses where he could expand the offense and spread them out, and then use Jarvis kind of on those little digs, those little downs, those little routes there underneath. And I just thought that was kind of interesting. He brought him up. But for Kevin Smith, he did an awesome job in that interview. So congratulations on that. We are seeing if we can get Kevin Stefanski on our shows here on the Fanatical Elves. I know Kevin was kind of trying to work and see if he could talk to Kevin Stefanski about joining us. So we're looking forward to hearing back from Kevin on that. We've just been talking the last day. So we'll keep everybody posted here on the Fanatical Elves Network. We're going to pause for a quick break. This is the Fanatical Elves Network. This is the Johnny Cleveland podcast. We'll be right back. All right, I didn't stop on number 13. I'm on 12. So yeah, we usually do the. I haven't done a Johnny Cleveland show in a while. I've been doing the Coffee Jolts with Johnny Cleveland, and we'll have one of those tomorrow morning. But we've been on vacation and got back and down there in Florida. Hopefully, you caught some of our programming down there and really enjoyed that trip. Beautiful area that we were there in that Destin, Fort Walton, Miramar Beach area. Just if you haven't been down there. And don't know what I'm talking about. We're talking about the panhandle of Florida up there near Pensacola, down the Panama City seaside where they're having all the shark attacks. Just beautiful region. I got in the water, didn't get attacked by any sharks. Wife didn't get attacked by any sharks. It was very, very nice time. Kids came down. We had friends, family members. So it was really awesome. Got to see and do a lot of different things. Got to eat crab legs, cracked crab legs, and all sorts of fun stuff in the food department. I'm normally not a fish guy, but there's a restaurant down there. If you know what I'm talking about, down in Destin and Fort Walton area, there's a local chain called Stewby's, Stewbys. Check them out. You will not be disappointed. It is I don't eat fish. It's the only place I will eat fish. Like if we go out to restaurants, it's not like a fancy dancy restaurant. It's kind of like just you go up, you order. They've got great seating, outdoor kind of venue, and just awesome stuff. I mean, I like vinegar on everything, so they actually have like vinegar. I can dump it on my hush puppies and my fish. It's pretty good stuff. So we actually didn't go just once. We went twice. We were so in need of Stewby's. So check them out, but a lot of great things to see and do when you're not sitting on the beach and getting a tan. All right. A couple other stories that I've not talked about here on the Johnny Cleveland podcast per se. One thing that popped up. Well, first, I just want to bring up Baker Mayfield. I know a lot of you were Baker Mayfield fans, and hopefully, maybe you still are. And I know he's not our quarterback anymore, and he plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But Baker, did a lot of good things here in Cleveland. And I know some fans were like, well, let's just not talk about him. Well, no, I think we need to give him his due respect. And I think that, he had an interview earlier today or over the weekend with a podcasting crew. I think they were down in Tampa Bay area. And he actually admitted to being immature and that season when he injured his shoulder and wanting to fight through it. And he even described it like, he said the Browns fans are like blue collar and hardworking, and he really felt a connection with them. And part of that kind of wrapped into his thinking. And as a young kid coming out of school and being a Heisman Trophy winner, all the pressure on him, I think he just did not recognize at the moment that he needed to take a seat and not play through that injury, which made him, made it much worse, and the season dragged on, and it was just really hard to watch. But he admitted to being an ass. And so I got to give Baker some credit. I think I've appreciated everything that he's done already for the Browns, and moving forward, I'm a fan of his. Don't want him to beat the Browns whenever the Browns play them. But he did so much for this organization, and we don't talk about it enough. And I know it's been a while, but 2018, he helped really turn things around. It was dynamite. It was electric. If you were there or saw anything with that Jets game back in 2018 in week 2 or 3, it was the most exciting game in a long, long while. And it changed the trajectory of everything that we're talking about right now. And statistically, when you look at Baker's numbers, he will rank as one of the better quarterbacks of all time in Cleveland Browns history. So we need to give him his props. So thank you, Baker. Other storyline that came up, and I know this has already been talked about by some of my other colleagues like Steve Gill and Lou and Noah, this show Unsportsmanlike, ESPN Radio, all this stuff. So there was this, the lead guy is Evan Cohen. And then he's got these counterparts, Michelle Schmalman, and then this moron idiot ex-football player, Chris Canty, former Baltimore Ratbird. So it's Chris Canty, obviously, that I have an issue with, and most Browns fans have an issue with because he's a moron. Michelle Schmalman, some radio DJ gal, came out with a top 5 best NFL fan bases. Right? So she came out with this list, and I'm trying to find my phone. I don't know if I dropped it somewhere. It's way over there. But she came up with this list. Let me see if I can. Well, I can't reach it right now. But she on the list, she included the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, I'll give you the Pittsburgh Steelers. You guys are good fans, but it's like Evan Cohen on the show said, it's easy being a Steeler fan because you guys have consistently been winning. And that's why, a lot of Steeler fans are like that. They want to be with a winning team. A lot of you became Steeler fans back in the late 70s, early 80s because of, Lynn Swann and, Terry Bradshaw and Franco Harris and all that. Get that. We know this as Browns fans, especially us older Browns fans, because we do still consider the Steeler and the Brown rivalry the best of all time. I was asked that question by Jeff Hartman of Fans First the other day, and like I said to him, a lot maybe younger fans consider Baltimore being the arch rival of the Brownies because of what happened with Baltimore, but Pittsburgh really is it, and so we know a lot about the former Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, so she gives us this list, and she has I think it's the Jets. She has the New York Jets in this top 5 list. Are you kidding me? How the hell did she put the New York Jets as one of the best fan bases in all of America? Forget that. They're like the last 5. They're terrible fans. She also had, I think, the Eagles fans in there, and I can't remember who the other couple were, but they did not include the Cleveland Browns. So that's when Evan Cohen went on his tirade. Well, not tirade, but just very informative, basically comeback to Michelle in the program saying the Browns fans need to be in that top 5 list because of all the agony and everything that they've gone through and losing their team for 3 seasons, staying with their team through the ups and downs and going through what we saw in 2016 and 2017 when we lost when we won 1 game. Right? So all of that completely makes sense to us Browns fans who know what Cleveland Browns football is all about. Then you get this freaking idiot moron, Chris Canty, who's a former draft pick, number 1 pick from the Dallas Cowboys, decent player, and then ended up finishing his career in Baltimore back in like 2013 or 2012, 2013. I think he got a Super Bowl with them, or they went to the Super Bowl again that year when Joe Flacco was around. Chris Canty, in this interview, said that the Browns fans don't deserve to be there because they let their team go. And he's saying that because the fans could vote for their politicians and the Browns fans didn't. And thus it's the fans who lost the team in 1995. Are you freaking kidding me? I don't have time to go into all the explanation. We've posted enough stuff. Bob Costas did a wonderful 30 years ago. Go see it on our Twitter page or whatnot, where he explains how Art Modell selfishly stole the team and ran to Baltimore. He had opportunity after opportunity to do things for this team, to go to connect with them with the original Jacobs Field project, but he said no. Then why didn't he just, like Bob Costas said 30 years ago, why would you just not sell the team to local interests? Because Modell was an ass, and Modell was a selfish son of a gun, and he took the team. He fired Paul Brown. He's an evil man. He does not deserve to be anywhere close to the Hall of Fame. Lord help us. Anyway, that's the story. That's what really happened. Chris Canty has no freaking clue. Now, maybe he did it because he wanted to get ratings, and maybe he knew because he played for the Ravens the inside story. He's not smart enough probably to know the inside story, but I'm going to give him a break and say maybe he did. And maybe he's just trying to get clicks. I don't know. But it's really pissed off us Browns fans because this guy is a moron. He has no clue what he's saying. Just do your research. When you're on, these national guys, they don't pay attention. I guess they don't have to because they're getting paid a lot of money to not have to know and be knowledgeable about things that they really should know about. But hey, if they can get away with it, great. But I don't have a lot of respect for players or people who are going to talk about the Cleveland Browns when they have no idea anything about history and logic. It makes no sense. And so I'm glad that this Evan Cohen spoke up so highly of the Browns fans because all of it is so true. And maybe we're not the best fan base in America, but we're certainly not. We're better than Jets fans. We deserve to be in that top 5 list. Evan Cohen went on to say that they're probably the best fans in all of sports. I agree with that assessment too. If you're from here, you don't even live here. If you live in Wichita, Kansas, where I was the Browns backers president for several years, there's a lot of transplants of people that are from Ohio who are just diehard Browns fans. It's a loyalty that cannot be explained, and those outside of that Browns loyalty will never get it. We'll leave it at that. But Chris Canty, shut up and don't say anything else about Browns fans. All right, that's all I got on that. Couple little things before I go. The Guards, the Guardians, the Indians, the Tribe struggled down the line there going into the All-Star break. By the way, congratulations to Jose Ramirez making it to the semifinals yesterday in the All-Star Home Run Derby. Hit 21 home runs in his first go around, got to the semis, went up against that kid from Kansas City, the Royal kid. I don't know his name, but he lost to him. And but he did a really good job. I think he had been in it a couple years ago and didn't par so well. So he did much better. So congrats to Jose. He will be starting tonight in the All-Star game. So good for them. The Guards are clinging to a 4-game lead now in the ALC, or the American League Central, fighting off the Royals, who are getting hot again, and the Minnesota Twins. I don't have a lot of, I don't know what it is. I don't feel real confident in this Cleveland team. I know all of you are looking at their record and saying, well, gosh, they're 21, 22 games over 500. Yeah, they are. But they have super duper struggled with various parts of their team. Pitching has been inconsistent. Scoring runs has been really inconsistent. What, they had 2 shutouts, and they were shut out twice in the last 2 or 3 games. So it is a concern. They've got to get the bats going. They got to be more consistent. And the bigger concern overall is that the pressure is mounting. We're going into the end of July. We still got August and September. And this team struggled last year, finished under 500. And I know you're all excited about Stephen Kwan and all these guys. And they got a really nice draft pick, Banana guy, or his last name is not Banana, but Tyler Bahana. I can't remember exactly how you pronounce his last name. Really good kid out of Australia, played at Oregon State last year's a second baseman. Look forward to that, but we'll see what he can do for this team long term. Short term, Guards need to get better hitting the ball, and they need more consistent starting pitching. If we can get that the second part of the year, great. I just don't think it's in the cards. I just feel like, again, the Twins are coming on, the Royals are coming on, the pressure's going to mount, and it's going to be the dog days of summer. And I'm completely wrong, and the Cleveland hangs on to a 10-game lead by the end of the season. But it's 4 games right now. That means 1 series, and it could switch. And then Cleveland could be looking up, trying to make it into the playoffs with a wild card spot. So it is great, though, they're in this spot. And, we all were worried when our ace at the beginning of the year, Shane Bieber, got hurt. So a credit to the Tribe for getting to where they are. And yes, I still call them the Tribe and the Indians, because folks, that's what we grew up knowing them as. Yeah, they're the guards, and I'll say it more, but in my heart and my soul, it will always be the Indians. So, all right, folks, thanks for joining the Johnny Cleveland podcast tonight. It is a Tuesday night, very nice evening down here in the Columbus area. The sun is out, calling for some storms later. It's supposed to cool off, so enjoy that cooler weather, folks. We'll be back to you very soon. Got a coffee jolt with Johnny Cleveland probably coming to you tomorrow morning, Wednesday, so look forward to that as well. We'll have another Fanatical Elves show with all the gang coming up Thursday night, our regular time, probably at 8:30 or 9. So again, if you're watching us, thank you again for watching us live today on Fans First Sports. If you're watching us on the X or on YouTube or on Facebook, so join us on those platforms, and please subscribe to us on Apple and on Spotify, one or the other, so you don't miss us. You don't miss Johnny Cleveland. All right, take care. Go Browns.